90.3 The Rock, WTK FM. Benny Smith here with you along for the ride. Sure appreciate you listening to us on this Friday afternoon. As I said, it is a good Friday, and it's about to get a little better for you as we've got a special studio guest, some fellows who are in town and are here to play a big show tonight, the Bluegrass Ball down at the Cider House. It's Traveling McCoys. First, I want to tell you again that you are listening to WUTK, and you're also watching UTTV The Rock Unplugged. You can check that out Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday nights at 9 on Channel 194 on the Comcast Digital Package, Channel 65 right here on campus on the Hill, the home of the University of Tennessee Volunteers. What we do is we get these cool bands and musicians come into town, usually playing a show, got a new CD out or both, and we get them in the studio to perform live and to talk a little bit about the show and to give you a little taste of the feast to come. And that's exactly what we're fixing to do here in the studio with the Traveling McCoys. It's been a while since I've seen my buddies, but it sure is good to see them again. Ronnie McCurry, step up, man.
Hey,
how you
Benny,
doing, man?
How you doing, buddy?
It's so great to see you and the rest of the fellas. If you would, before we go any further, so they don't skip out on us, introduce the Traveling McCurrys to us.
I sure will. Well, the other McCurry in the Traveling McCurrys is Brother Rob McCurry back here.
Howdy, Rob.
Benny, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. Good to see you in that 5-string.
Good to be here. Jason Carter on the fiddle, Benny.
Howdy, Jason.
How you doing, man?
Another staple. Who else you got?
Alan Bartram on the big bass fiddle.
Got the niece, Alan. Howdy, Alan.
And then we got our good buddy Jeff White going to be with us today.
Great.
Hello, friends, neighbors.
Great picker, great songwriter, great singer. When you can get help like Jeff White, you're doing pretty good in the business, I think.
Yeah, right. We'll just turn it all over to him after a while.
There you go. Man, it's so great to see you guys. It's been a while, been a minute, as they say, and I've been kind of going a different direction. You guys still doing the same direction, making that great music, man, making that great bluegrass music, and not just the traditional stuff, but stepping out a little bit like you guys have known to do in the past. And that's kind of what the Bluegrass Ball's about tonight at Cider House, isn't it?
Absolutely, Ben. We decided to try and do these Bluegrass Balls and have some of our friends come along and kind of like a jam session, basically, you know.
Yeah.
Have a picking party at the house, and we just take it on the road.
Instead of around the campfire at about 4 a.m. At a festival, you're doing it on stage, I guess,
That's right.
basically. So, well, tell us first and foremost, you know, he's not here today, but he's definitely always here in spirit, and he's still out on the road as it is festival season. So the Dale McCurry Band is not in any kind of semi-retirement mode or anything,
no,
right?
It's not
Dale,
at all,
Dale's
Ben.
still out there, right?
No, he's still going at it. We got home, I guess, Tuesday. We were out probably about a week or 10 days with the Preservation Hall Jazz Band, and we did a co-bill together and did a record together. And now out this weekend with us, and we play the Grand Ole Opry next week with him, and back out on the road, you know.
Always doing something, man.
Yeah.
Staying busy keeps you out of trouble, though.
That's right.
How's your mom doing? The backbone of the Dale McCurry
That's right.
Band.
She's doing great. She wishes she was here with us tonight selling product.
I'll guarantee it. She can work that product table, man. It's all about the merch, and she knows how, man. Well, I tell you what, big night tonight down at the Cider House. A lot of folks looking forward to it. The Emmett Nursery Band joining you guys. Cruz Contreras from here in town going to be opening the show. Probably crank up, I think doors at 8, probably crank up about 9 down at the Cider House. So it's going to be a great evening of music. We're going to come back, talk a little about that, talk about the project you just finished with the Dale McCurry Band as well, get caught up a little bit. But first, can we give the folks a taste of what to expect this evening?
Yeah, we might as well get the fiddle player warmed up.
We might as
here.
well, Jason. What do you say, buddy?
I guess so.
He'll be
Can you
warm
work
by
one up?
tonight anyhow.
What's you going to do, man?
He's going to fill you an old time number, one entitled The Wheelhouse.
That's how it's done.
Yeah.
That is how it's done right there, ladies and gentlemen. That's the Traveling McCoys for you here on a wonderful Friday afternoon in East Tennessee on 90.3 The Rock and UTTV The Rock Unplugged. Mr. Jason Carter on lead fiddle there with the Will Hoss. Good stuff, fellas.
Sounds warmed up, don't it?
Yeah, I believe he's warmed up. I believe he is. I'm glad we didn't do this at 11, though. We were talking about doing this at 11 a.m., and I've seen bluegrass bands at 11 a.m., and sometimes it's not a pretty thing. So, I guess, Ronnie, if you would step up and tell us, you touched on a little bit, and you guys, especially the Del McCurry Band, and of course you and Rob and Jason as well, but you've always been a group or musicians, and with Del too, this stepped out a little bit. You guys did Love's a Long Road by Tom Petty way back when, and then tackled the Robert Cray classic as well, Smoking Gun, and kind of put the bluegrass twist on it. So, I mean, there's been bands, kind of adding the contemporary twist to bluegrass for years. Country Gentlemen, Seldom Seen, on and on. But you guys have kind of taken it to that next level by actually working with some of these folks and by jamming with Fish and people like that. I mean, what's kind of behind that? I mean, is that kind of what influenced you to kind of get this bluegrass ball thing together too? Because I know you listen to music of all types, not just traditional bluegrass.
Yeah, I don't know really. We look back and don't really know how it all happened. My dad is a traditional vocalist, but he has along the way he's been able to use his voice and use maybe some contemporary songs and just make them his own. And with bands like Fish and doing my dad's songs, and we were able to play with them some, and then we toured with Leftover Salmon, who were, I forgot exactly what they called their music.
I guess Jamgrass maybe, or polyethnic
Cajun Slamgrass,
Cajun poly something,
poly something.
Yeah.
But we did a
polyethnic Cajun Slamgrass.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
And so we played with those guys, and we actually played at the Allman Brothers Festival and played with them in Florida, and played with Warren Haynes, and
just got through playing with the Allman Brothers. I heard not too long ago, right?
Yeah, down in Florida, and we recorded a record with some fellas from South Florida called the Lee Boys.
Yeah,
and they're from the Sacred Steel brand of music. Kind of
like that Robert Randolph circle of musicians there.
Exactly,
yeah.
And they've been doing it a little bit longer than Robert has,
Right.
And we made a record together that's going to be coming out. And I guess we did the latest thing that has come out, Benny, is this Preservation Hall Jazz.
Yeah, and now that's with the Del McCurry Band.
Yeah.
Basically. Well, tell us a little bit. Tell us, number one, how'd you hook up with those guys? I mean, what a great, amazing American band, New Orleans is so full of just great music anyway, and then you add the bluegrass element to it. What can we expect? How did you all get hooked up? And we're looking forward to that. What can we expect from that project?
Well, my dad got a call about a year and a half, or maybe two now, from them. They were going to do a benefit record for their, they have a music program from the Preservation Hall, and my dad jumped on board, and he was the first guy to say yes, he'd do it, and the first guy to record with him. And they put out this incredible record of a variety of artists, and they really liked my dad and decided we could try and play some together, and we did. And then we decided to make a record together, and we did. And it's called American Legacies,
Cool.
But it's, when Bill Monroe and Earl Scruggs, in the beginning beginnings of bluegrass music, they were playing some jazz tunes,
Sure.
Like, Earl did that on the banjo, Dear Old Dixie, and Farewell Blues and Bugle Call Rag. Those are all old Dixieland music,
And it's obvious Bill was influenced heavily by the blues as well. Yeah.
And he even recorded some tunes from that era. And so he blended it into the music, And so that's what we're doing. We're just kind of putting traditional jazz and so-called traditional bluegrass together, but it's my dad's voice, that.
Right. Now, something I always remember, when you go to Merlefest for years, like you guys have played it for years, and I went for 9 straight years there. I always remember, wasn't Jazz Fest either the next weekend, or it seemed like it was right there, like it's bang of American traditional music. Yeah. You go from Wilkesboro to New Orleans. You guys did Jazz Fest, right? Or
yeah,
did
we
you played with those guys? How? Yeah, that's got to be a party. I mean,
yeah, it's pretty wild.
I bet it is. New Orleans, what do you expect?
It is, and then after we played the show one year, we went over to the Preservation Hall, and for a lot of the bluegrass listeners, it's kind of the equivalent. Station Inn would be equivalent to it,
Okay, yeah,
New Orleans, and in Nashville there, and so we played there with the only bluegrass band has ever played there. They've been open since about 61 or 2, I think it is, something like that. And so then we got together on stage and played together. That's the beginnings of all that,
So those folks warmed up to the bluegrass down there in the middle pretty quickly, didn't they?
Yeah.
I bet they did. I bet. And apparently the guys in the band, Preservation Hall Jazz Band, had a good time with it, because obviously you doing some dates together as well with them.
Yeah. We've done we've probably done about a dozen so far, and the record came out April the 14th or 15th, something like that.
Right.
And we got some more coming up in May. We go out to the West Coast and throughout the year, but I just think it's catching on. Every place we played, it's been a great reaction,
That's cool.
And people from the hall, these music halls, are saying it's the best thing that's ever been in their buildings, and you don't hear that every day.
I was going to say, there's a lot to choose from there, so that's all right, man. Well, it doesn't surprise me with the musicians you guys are, the ambassador of this music that your father is, and being able to cross those boundaries, stretch those borders, if you will. And again, we are speaking with Ronnie McCurry and the Traveling McCurrys, who are live in studio here at 90.3 The Rock and UTTV The Rock Unplugged, playing the Signer House tonight, along with the Emmett Nursery Band and Cruz Contreras for the Bluegrass Ball. Doors open at 8 o'clock. Something I want to touch on real quick, because, again, I've been involved with bluegrass for a few years in particular, and love the music. It's part of this area. It's part of growing up in this area. But, back when this whole kind of meshing started, and I would say it was probably in the early, mid-'90s, maybe late 90s especially, there were some of the traditional bluegrassers, and especially the crowd, that just didn't warm up to it, I don't think, too much. But, man, it seems like time heals all wounds, I guess. But it just kept happening more and more, and now it doesn't seem like, bringing together and doing something like you guys are doing, and then the next night turn around doing a traditional bluegrass set. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's that much of a stretch, and it doesn't seem like there's that many of the bluegrass crowd out there now that kind of frowns on it. Do you get that too? I mean, is it now obviously I think part of that is the younger crowd that's coming to the music that you guys bring, and that the new grass bands, if you will, bring. Are you seeing that out on the